This is a really good shirt right here.
Lenny for Trump.
Oh.
First of all, how grateful I am to Senator Sherrod Brown for the leadership he's given to Hillary's campaign, for the work he did to help her win the primary, and for the leadership he's given for a new economy for America that includes manufacturing jobs. So I brought him a present. This is a Hillary for President tie. Made, not in Ohio, but in Colorado, in America. So I really want to have it. How can we help families succeed in the most important job of any society, raising children, and succeed at work? How can we live together with all of our diversity so we can all rise together? How can we be safe in the world so that we can grow? How can we do it? Don't worry about that. I can tell you one thing. I love it when people come into my rallies, and it's a dead giveaway when they don't ever want to have a conversation, because they know they'll lose the conversation. It works better if we have an economy and a society where we share and work together and cooperate, or one where we just divide up and fight all the time? And can we expect to be safe in a world where the borders look more like nets and walls and a lot of terrorists are converted over to social media? Can we be safe without bridges to our friends by trying to build walls that won't keep the social media out in the first place? This is not a complicated question. So here's why you ought to be for us. You got the best economic plan for all of us to grow together, for people to succeed at work and at home raising their kids. You got the plan, a plan that will help us to go into places like Appalachia and Indian country and urban areas and these poor small towns and rural areas where nothing good's happened in more than a decade, and we have, for the first time in my life, a drug epidemic with prescription drugs, heroin, and fentanyl, where the addiction rates are higher in small town and rural America than in the cities. We need answers on anger. We need to take care of each other and work together and build better tomorrows and give people something to look forward to when they wake up in the morning. And so you gotta give it to them. I mean, they're good at rubbing salt in your wounds, aren't they? Let's make America great again. That means I'll give you the economy you had 50 years ago. And I'll move you back up on the social totem pole where you were 50 years ago. Look, I get it when people feel invisible, when they think nobody cares about them. You got a right to be mad about that. But I turned 70 this year. Giving you the economy and the social status you had 50 years ago is like me saying I'd like to be 20 again. I would, actually. But I wouldn't vote for anybody that promised to make me 20 again. Every year I was president, when we did really well with jobs, we ranked in the top 5 countries in the world in small business formation. We are not in the top 10 now. Part of it is people are still spooked to ask for loans, and part of it is banks that got in trouble before have overdone it the other way, and they want real estate collateral to make a small business loan, which defeats most small business people. Part of it is young millennials who would like to start small businesses have college loans at high interest rates that mess up their credit rating. I'll say more about that. So Hillary has, the only person, she's proposed a very clear plan to simplify the rules, cut the cost and time of processing small business loans, and make it clear to community banks that they can and should make these loans, and it'll be less costly to do so. We have got to do that. 2/3 of all the new jobs in America in the last 20 years have come from small businesses, and we need to open the spigot again so people can start those businesses. Then, if you do these things, everybody's still got to be able to participate. And that means college has got to be affordable for everyone. The debt's got to be repayable. And we need to re-dignify skills training like the kind the iron workers do for people that don't need 4 years degrees to get good middle-class jobs. We need to do that. So what does she propose to do? Free tuition at every public college for people with family incomes of $125,000 a year or less. That's more than 1%. Free tuition for everybody at 2-year community colleges. Debt-free graduation for people that are over $125,000 with opportunities to do work and other things to make sure you can get out without debt. What about the people that have debt now? She proposes first to let people refinance. Did you know a college loan is the only bank debt you can have that you cannot refinance? A few months ago, I went and bought a pair of jeans from a lady I've been doing business with for more than a decade. She's a real nice person, and her son just graduated from one of New York's public colleges, and oh, she was so proud of me. I said, how's your boy doing? She said, oh gosh, he's doing great. He got great grades, and he's going to be able to get a good job. I said, does he have any debt? She said, yeah, quite a bit. What's the interest rate? 9%. I said, do you still have a home mortgage? She said, sure. I said, did you refinance it when the interest rates go down? She said, of course. What's your interest rate? Less than 4%. There is something wrong. When people who have lived much of their lives and at least are secure in their homes can finance their mortgage at less than 4%, when their kids just starting out in life and needing a break have got to pay more than twice that in interest rate. So Hillary wants to let everybody refinance at an interest rate. That would save 20 million plus young millennials more than $2,000 on average, and for the ones that like went to architecture school or law school or medical school, no more, would save a lot more. When Hillary's opponent says we ought to get rid of our NATO alliances or make them pay more, you'd think that they were all tenants in one of his apartment houses, and he wants to raise the rent. Let me tell you something. NATO was organized to protect Europe from the old Soviet Union. They have voted to send soldiers on the ground outside of the area of NATO one time only, when they went to Afghanistan to fight with us after 9/11 to protect the United States of America. We should not turn away from our allies. Tim Kaine's opponent was going on and on about how bad it was that Benghazi again. He talked about Benghazi in emails. I got tickled because he didn't tell you there's a little full disclosure problem in all this. Then in the history of America, there's only been one incident where American deaths were so politicized. This one. 4 people died. They had 7 congressional hearings looking into the same thing. All 7 chaired by Republicans. The first 7 were honest, straightforward, stand-up people. They found the same thing that the Special Nonpartisan Committee investigation did. We need to strengthen our security if we're going to go into a place where the government can't protect you. But the Secretary of State's never been responsible for those decisions. Arizona Republican. Never once endorsed a Democrat. Just endorsed Hillary in Phoenix, Arizona. The Cincinnati Enquirer last endorsed a Democrat when Woodrow Wilson ran for re-election in 1916. 100 years. They just endorsed Hillary. The Dallas Morning News, once the most famous conservative paper in America, which, and by the way, which now has one of the finest police departments in the country. You saw them, and you saw David Brown, the chief of police. They last endorsed the Democrat when Franklin Roosevelt was president in World War II. When they said, you know, it may not be such a good idea to change presidents in the middle of World War II. They just endorsed Hillary. Why are these Republicans doing this? Would they agree with everything I just said that she believes to build the economy? Probably not. But they do believe our country deserves to be represented by somebody who can keep us safe and strong. And who would be honorable. They believe it's a dead giveaway if Mr. Putin says it's a good thing that the Democratic Committee's files were hacked, even though he won't come right out and say they did it. It's a dead giveaway that he's not for her for president. But she did negotiate the only agreement we've made with Russia in many years that's still stuck, the New START Treaty, which reduces the threat of nuclear war, which with all the trouble we're having in this world is a darn good thing to have. And so, the only other thing I want to say is, as mean as the Republicans have been to her, I wish every one of you could be transported through virtual reality to see our campaign headquarters in Brooklyn, because there's a whole room with picture after picture after picture of prominent Republicans and the wonderful things they said about her before she started running for president, when they thought she was the best thing since sliced bread. And I say that because the only two things that could keep us from rising together, if we adopt the right economic policies and we decide we're going to live together and embrace our diversity and our common humanity, there are two things. One is continued political gridlock in Washington. The other is the world remains too safe and crowded, too unsafe and crowded for us to have the space to grow and lead others away from the mess we've been in. She is the only person you can vote for who has given you a plan that includes a serious assault on the drug problem, a plan that includes a serious effort to build a national mental health system, which even the police in me don't need. She's the only person that's given you a comprehensive plan for economic and social reform, the only person with a record of getting things done with a Republican, and the only person with a record of getting things done in a dangerous, tumultuous world. That will, by the way, when she walked out of the Secretary of State's office, opinion of the United States of America was 20 points higher in all worldwide opinion polls than it was the day she walked in. So, I think she's the best change maker I ever saw. Now, before I started this day, I called a friend of mine in Austin, Texas. We've been friends for more than 40 years, and he's a great one-liner guy. He's always coming up with these one-liners. And I said, I need a one-liner for today. Give me a good one. You know what he said? He said, if you don't want the guy to drive the truck off the cliff, do not give him the keys. The keys. She will open the door to a bright new tomorrow, and we'll all rise together. Thank you.
Yo sé que tienes otra vida, no tengo miedo, todos tenemos en la vida.